Welcome to A Victim Bites Back show 45. It started 45 shows ago with me leaving London in my Rolls-Royce car to drive, I think probably 20,000 kilometres all the way down to Marrakesh in Morocco, then coming back through Spain and France, returning briefly on the train to London, then going back for the summer to the south of France, Italy, and even Switzerland and Germany, and then back to London, where I am now. You see this cinema, the Prince Charles? They appallingly accepted a booking to show my film The Great Reset, and when they saw it, they rejected it and returned my cheque because they said it was unshowable. Isn't that a disgrace? One of the many artists that I've actually discovered but have failed to actually break was a young man called Brendan, who I think was fantastic.
Day after day, hour after hour, they'll just work, but they all don't know why. From 9 until 5, oh, and 5 days a week right through the year. Oh, I think I'd rather die. Oh, this life in England in a factory won't do for my family, nor even just for me. Is this the way they thought I'd carry on? Look at you all, it's not fair. Look at you all, it's not fair. Good morning, Mrs. Crouch. Well, sort these papers out. If we don't, I'll be lost for things to do. Lunch break's not till 1, and by 2 we should be through. Now take this down. Oh, and what was that you said? Oh, this life in England in an office block won't do for my family, but I gave it all I got. Is this the way they thought I'd carry on? All, it's not fair. Look at you all, it's not fair. Living this way, it's the same every day. And there's one thing I'm sure, I won't go on no more. Oh, this life in England in a factory won't do for my family, nor even just for me. Is this the way they thought I'd carry on? Look at you all, it's not fair. Look at you all, it's not fair.
This is Soho Square, where I had my first record contract at number 37 Soho Square. Since then it became quite a music industry place. CBS Records was based here for years. Paul McCartney's office was here and still is here for many years. But it's number 37 Soho Square that I most remember. And indeed, once I and Paul McCartney broke into number 37 Soho Square. I had an office there, but I didn't have my keys on me. So I bumped into Paul when I was with a girlfriend on my way to a club, as one tends to be. And I bumped into Paul, who was going into the same club later on, who said to me, "Oh, Jonathan, I have to have a piano. Do you have a piano?" I said, "Well, there's a piano in my office in Soho Square." "Great, we must go there." Jumped into a taxi because we were out and about. Got to Soho Square 37 and I said, "Oh God, the front door's locked, I forgot." And Paul said, "Can we break in?" And we literally kicked the door in. I then had to pay a rather substantial sum of money to the building afterwards to get it repaired. And we went upstairs to the 4th floor where my office was. And Paul shut himself into the office for about an hour whilst me and my girlfriend, Daisy May Williams at the time, sat outside until Paul came out very happy and said, "Look, a million thanks. I can't tell you how grateful I am. I'd have completely forgotten that if it wasn't for this." And off we went back to the club. To this day, I've never discovered what the song was. I like to think it was Yesterday, originally entitled Scrambled Eggs, but I suspect it wasn't. That's my story, one of many stories of 37 Soho Square. So, Passages, what was it like? I wanted to go and see it because I'm a huge Ben Whishaw fan. Not only do I think he's one of the best actors around at the moment, and he was superb in that Doctor series on the BBC, but he's also very dishy in my opinion. Anyway, I wanted to go and see it. It's a good film, not a great film, but a good film. Doing fine. I was amazed that the cinema was absolutely packed. I saw it actually at the Picture House in Piccadilly Circus, where I go quite a lot, and every seat was taken. Well, I discovered why. A very clever trick. The seats were £3 each, and I think that's what brought everyone in. I think the reaction, which was fairly good, was about the same as mine. A good film, but not a great film. Worth going to, but not fantastic. Remember I mentioned Brendan? Well, I did record a cover of a Casey and the Sunshine Band with him, and it shot into the top 20 and was a huge hit, and he was on top of the pops. friend Simon Cowell used to live, where Michael Winner also used to live, where Jimmy Page now lives, and Robbie Williams lives. This is where Simon Cowell now lives, just round the corner, which I believe he's just sold for several million quid. None of which would have been possible had I not taken him under my wing and been his mentor for many years that gave him the success he has today. A really lovely guy, actually, who offered to be my bail bond when I was arrested in the year 2000 and did indeed stand bail for me for slightly more than £50,000. This is where Simon used to live years ago and once cooked dinner for me and Pete Waterman. Pete was one of those hugely successful record producers. Remember Stock Aitken Waterman? Long ago, but not as long ago as I was originally a performer, a singer. And I'd like to give you a burst of one of my hits, actually, or one of the tracks I'm proudest of, written by Jeff Lynne. Jeff Lynne, hugely talented writer and producer and performer. He had a band called the Electric Light Orchestra, ELO, and one of the songs he wrote was a fabulous song, which I'd done a version of, which I actually think is as good as the ELO version. See what you think.
I can't get it out of my head. No, I can't get it out of my head. Now my old world is gone for dead, 'cause I can't get it out of my head. Oh no, no, no. Midnight on the water, I saw the ocean's daughter walking on a wave. She came, staring as she called my name, and I can't get it out of my head. No, I can't get it out of my head. Now my old world is gone for dead, 'cause I can't get it out of my head. Oh no, no, no. Breakdown on the shoreline, can't move. It's an ebb tide. Morning don't get here tonight, searching for her silver light, and I can't get it out of my head. No, I can't get it out of my head. Now my old world is gone for dead, 'cause I can't get it out of my head. Oh no, no, no. Bank job in the city, Robin Hood and William Tell and Ivanhoe and Lancelot, they don't envy me, yeah. Sitting till the sun goes down, dreams the world keeps going round and round, and I can't get it out of my head. No, I can't get it out of my head. Now my old world is gone for dead, 'cause I can't get it out of my head. Oh no, no, no. No, no, I can't get it out of my head. Can't get it out of my head. No, I can't get it out of my head. Can't get it out of now my old world is gone for dead. You're driving me crazy. 'Cause I can't get it out of my head. Oh no, no, no. No, 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 I can't get it out of my head. It only takes a minute. No, I can't get it out of my head. Close to you. Now my old world is gone for dead. You're driving me crazy. 'Cause I can't get it out of my
This
head.
month is the 22nd anniversary of the Twin Towers and the terrorists flying into the Twin Towers in New York, which really hit me hard. I've been there many, many times. I used to eat all the time in the restaurant at the top of one of the towers, the windows on the world. But it hit me even more because that date, the 9th of September, the 11th of September, 9/11, in 2001, was also the date of the start of my trial. After the trial was adjourned rather early, and I couldn't work out why, it was the first day, so it was jury selection and all that, and myself and my barrister and his junior and my solicitor went back to my barrister's chambers, where everyone was clustered around the TV watching this unfold as the Twin Towers were literally crumbling in smoke. And I said to Ron Thwaites, my QC, how on earth can a trial go on while this is happening? And Ron Thwaites answered, and I remember his exact words, Jonathan, British justice is not affected by minor global events. That was when I decided that Alice had gone down the rabbit hole and there was no point in me fighting any further. A busy day on Saturday, starting with a business breakfast meeting with a couple of old friends from the 60s, getting reminiscences of that era for my next volume of autobiography, number 3, and then moving on to a venue at New Scotland Yard, very near number 10 Downing Street, which was attended by hundreds of people to celebrate False Allegations Day, where Ann Widdicombe, the mighty Ann Widdicombe, made a speech, an excellent speech, pointing out, amongst other things, that there are hundreds of other countries also celebrating False Allegations Day, because all over the world, in all sorts of fairly obscure places, there are people who have been falsely accused, are in prison at the moment, often but not always of historical sexual offences, and people who are innocent and should not be in prison but have been there because of false allegations. There were 3 things that struck me at this event. Number 1, very few celebrities or famous people are prepared to speak about this. The false allegations industry only really is involved with people or supported by people who've been through it, either like myself, who've actually ended up in prison for crimes that never took place, or families and friends and people near them who basically have suffered. I found that even the police officers, the vast majority of decent, honest police officers, feel this is absolutely disgraceful and the law must be changed. The victims, or the claimants, must not be told you will be believed. until they've been investigated. Yes, it will be investigated. Any complaints will be looked at, but they'll be looked at in a balanced way. And if the complainant is found to be lying maliciously or in order to make a lot of money, they may well be prosecuted. Secondly, everybody there, almost everybody, was pretty ancient, I'm afraid to say, as I am now. And thirdly, despite the fact that we've got all this going on and people ranting and raging about false allegations, the vast majority of the members of the public out there still simply do not acknowledge that they happen and call them, wrongly, vanishingly rare. I've been going to these gatherings for people affected by false allegations for almost 20 years now, and sadly most of the people who were there at the ones I first went to are now dead. I find that very sad. The other thing that's sad is it's only people like Ann Widdicombe who have got the courage to stand up and speak about something like this, who are well known and who then of course get completely lambasted by the public and by the media. There are people, celebrities who do it, such as my friends Cliff Richard, Paul Gambaccini, Nigel Evans MP. All of these are people who actually have been affected either directly or indirectly by the circumstances. Very few who've not been directly or indirectly affected, like Ann Widdicombe, dare to open their mouths. And that's why I admire her and others like her so much. In my recent 2018, well, that's recent to me, trial, at which I was acquitted on all charges, during the lead up to it, various assorted people who were either questioned or arrested actually died as a direct result of Surrey Police's foolish and wicked behaviour, one of whom was falsely accused of being a victim of sex abuse, denied it, but it still killed him. We've had to live through the escape of Daniel Khalif from Wandsworth Prison, and there's 2 points that are clear from this. One, he is an innocent man. I call him Dan, the innocent man. He is somebody who we have to put the presumption of innocence. He has not done any crime unless and until he's found guilty in a court of law. And also, he is innocent of any crime involving leaving Wandsworth Prison. He did not escape. He was allowed to leave Wandsworth Prison. It's exactly the same as if they left all the doors open. People walking out are entitled to walk out. It's up to Wandsworth Prison to keep them in. Both of those things should be reminded. Also, how on earth is there going to be a fair trial for Daniel now? You will not find one juror who does not know that he's guilty and he spied for Iran, or at least that's what they've been told by the stupid media. A fair trial is completely impossible. They can never find one juror, let alone 12. Well done, Novak Djokovic. Not just because you played a fantastic game, how about that second set? But I'm a huge fan mainly because of his refusal to bow to the stupid government, stupid rules and stupid tennis organisations which actually banned him from playing in the Australia Open, the American Open and Wimbledon and all the rest of the things because of the stupid COVID rules, and he refused to be vaccinated. Personally, I'm very pro-vax. I think I've had 8 jabs against COVID, and I have the flu jab every year. I think it's marvellous. But also, the fact that he stood up, refused to do it, didn't let it affect him, and has now been shown to be the greatest of all time, make him a huge hero in my mind, and somebody who represents what humanity ought to be doing, standing up against the stupidity and superficialisation of a government and people and laws obeying media, inflation and hype. I've just been to see Past Lives, which is a Korean film. It's very, very good indeed. But the last 20 minutes are absolutely brilliant. Very reminiscent to my favourite film of all time, Brief Encounter. So I thoroughly recommend it. It's really good if you're a filmmaker because it's brilliantly well made. But also, apart from anything else, I really have on my bucket list, before I kick that bucket, I'd like to visit Korea, because especially as you see in this film, there's something about Korea at the moment. They keep making fantastic films, but I think there's something about the entire society of Korea that perhaps those of us living in other places could learn from. There you go. Hyde Park is wonderful when it's sunny. It's my nearby park and I've been coming here for 60 years. See you next time for episode number 46. Ow!